You might think she doesn't like you, but if you notice certain things, you'll realize she's thinking about you constantly. It may seem like she's distant or uninterested, but here's the truth. The more she appears to pull away, the more likely she is actually fixated on you. Most men completely miss this. They assume silence or distance equals disinterest, but in reality, it often means the opposite. When a woman feels attracted to someone, her instinct is often to create emotional space. Why? Because attraction makes her vulnerable, and her mind tries to protect her by holding back. That cold or distant behavior isn't proof that she's over you. It's simply her defense mechanism in action. The more she thinks about you, the more she might act like she doesn't care. Once you understand this, you start to notice subtle cues that reveal she's constantly on your mind, even when she seems distant. There's one key indicator, and when you recognize it, you'll know she's deeply focused on you. Whenever you think she's not interested, think again. She may be using subtle psychological moves almost without realizing it, and these actions show how intensely she's thinking about you. One of the clearest signs to look for is how she watches you when she assumes you're not paying attention. Most men miss it because they're too busy trying to get noticed in obvious ways, but here's the reality. Women are extremely observant. If she's genuinely thinking about you, she notices everything, the way you move, speak, and interact with others. She's focused on your energy, your presence, and even how people respond to you. You might catch her sneaking a glance your way in a crowded room, or perhaps you notice her eyes following you when she thinks no one sees. Then the twist comes. The moment you look at her, she quickly looks away. It seems like disinterest, but it's the exact opposite. That quick avoidance is her mind being caught off guard by her own emotions. Her thoughts are racing with imaginary scenarios where you feature in them in ways beyond mere curiosity. In the digital world, this is even more noticeable. She's often the first to see your stories right after you post them. She likes old photos, sometimes from months ago. She checks your profile at hours when she assumes you're asleep or not paying attention. Why does this matter? Because attention is extremely valuable. When a woman focuses repeatedly on you, it's more than a passing thought. Her mind follows her attention, and if her attention is constantly on you, her thoughts are constantly revolving around you. This is where psychology plays a role. Those sneaky glances or digital check-ins are signs she's mentally engaging with you, even if you don't realize it. She imagines conversations that haven't occurred, scenarios that haven't happened yet, and plays them out in her mind. This is more than casual interest. It's a deeper fixation, even if she hasn't admitted it to herself. Most men dismiss these small cues, but they are the subconscious indicators that she's daydreaming about you, picturing your words, your interactions, and potential shared experiences. These thoughts build a narrative in her mind where you're central, moving her feelings from curiosity to genuine affection. Don't mistake her actions for shyness or indifference. This is how female psychology works behind the scenes. If you pay attention, you'll see that she's already imagining falling for you. Her behavior speaks louder than her words. Constantly checking up on you shows emotional involvement, even if she hasn't openly expressed it. Don't underestimate these signs. The more she watches you, notices your actions, or imagines scenarios involving you, the more she's emotionally invested. Her mind is preoccupied with you, but she's trying to hide it. Attention is her currency, and when she focuses on you, her heart begins to follow. Things get more interesting when small details come into play. You may casually mention a presentation or an upcoming event, and weeks later, she brings it up as if it's spontaneous. Or you talk about your favorite band once, and later she casually mentions them in a conversation. You might think she's just being polite or has a good memory, but this is actually a major clue. Most people forget nearly everything they hear within a day. If she remembers these small pieces of information, it's not a photographic memory. It's because she's actively thinking about you. She's replaying your conversations and storing tiny details about you, building a subconscious mental file. She may not even realize she's doing this, but her mind prioritizes you above other things. Notice if she remembers small things like your dislike for olives, your sister's name, or a scar from a childhood accident. These aren't coincidences. They're signs she's been thinking about you more than you realize. A woman genuinely interested doesn't just hear your words, she absorbs them. Each seemingly insignificant detail becomes part of a mental map, forming a deeper connection. This isn't about courtesy, it's her mind connecting with you. She's emotionally attuned, remembering these details as a way of valuing you and your presence. Women aren't looking for flashy gestures. They're drawn to high value men who make them feel seen and understood. By noticing these details, she's building a bond in subtle but powerful ways. As a high value man, you should take note. This attention isn't given to everyone. She's drawn to your confidence, grounded energy, and authenticity. When she recalls little things from your life, it's a silent way of showing she cares. She's not just being nice, she's emotionally invested. This is the kind of connection that attracts women and keeps them thinking about you long after an interaction ends. It's not just about remembering a band or a name, it's about connecting to your world emotionally. She's mentally mapping your life and integrating herself into your thoughts, which is an unmistakable sign of deeper interest. Don't dismiss these moments. Each small recollection shows that she's mentally and emotionally engaged. When she recalls details from casual conversations, it means she's imagining you in her life. She's not just being polite, she's actively forming a connection in her mind. As a man who is aware and high value, this should signal you to appreciate and nurture this bond. Attraction isn't only about grand gestures. It's also in the little details that show thoughtfulness and attention. When a woman remembers the small things you mention, it's a powerful sign she's thinking about you nonstop. If she remembers things you've casually mentioned, even weeks later, it means she's invested. Drop a comment or take note. She's thinking about you constantly. This is a rare and strong signal. Attention is her currency, and you are the one she's investing in. When you question her feelings, it's easy to misread actions, but understanding these subtle cues will show you the reality. The way she watches you, remembers details, or imagines scenarios with you points to deep interest and emotional involvement. Recognize these signals. They reveal a woman whose mind is completely focused on you, even when she seems distant. She's thinking of you all the time, imagining possibilities, and emotionally connecting in ways that are almost invisible, yet undeniable. Realize that she might be thinking about you far more than you imagine. One of the clearest and most reliable signs of her interest isn't always what she does directly, but often how her friends behave around you. Pay attention because this subtle behavior can reveal a lot. If her friends know who you are and you notice them acting differently when you're around, it's not a coincidence. It's a strong hint that you've become a common topic in her world. Maybe you walk into a room and catch her friends exchanging glances, or you notice them teasing her softly, almost like they know something you don't. Sometimes one of them might even slip and say something like, "Oh, so you're the guy from before quickly correcting themselves, realizing they shared more than they intended. This isn't random. It directly reflects her feelings and shows how much space you occupy in her mind. Women tend to talk about people who matter to them. It's part of how they process feelings and attractions. If you're appearing in conversations with her friends, even without spending much time with them, it shows you've been frequently discussed. She's likely asking for advice, analyzing your interactions, revisiting texts, and building a mental image of you. At this point, you're no longer a passing thought. You're living rent-free in her mind. This is something that can't be faked. If her friends start acting oddly around you, it's because they've observed enough to form opinions. They've noticed how she talks about you, how much she thinks about you, and they've become emotionally invested in what's unfolding between you two. It's essential to recognize this sign, but equally important to manage your reaction. This is where classic Stoic wisdom becomes powerful. Stoicism teaches controlling one's emotions and keeping inner peace regardless of outside events. You might feel excitement, confusion, or even frustration when you notice these behaviors, but real strength comes from not letting external events control your state of mind. The Stoic mindset reminds us that while we can't control others' actions, we have complete authority over our thoughts and reactions. Your feelings shouldn't be dictated by her friend's behavior or what you imagine they might be thinking. Instead, practice patience and remain composed. With a strong, disciplined mind, you won't be swept into uncertainty. Rather than obsessing over why her friends are acting differently or what it means, focus on the fact that you're making a lasting impression. Taking this further, Stoicism encourages seeing every encounter as a chance to exercise self-control and inner strength. Don't let doubts or questions consume you. You're not seeking external validation from her or her friends. Stoicism teaches reliance on your own judgment and belief in your worth, independent of others' opinions. You aren't chasing her approval or anyone else's. You stand tall in your own value. This is the essence of attraction, stability, confidence, and inner strength, not neediness or desperation. By applying this approach to your interactions, you gain perspective. Her friends acting differently reflects the conversations they've had and what they've learned from her. It's not a cause for concern, it's proof of your impact. But catching her attention doesn't mean rushing things or forcing outcomes. A Stoic doesn't chase, a Stoic stands firm and lets life unfold naturally without desperation. In today's world, we often feel pressured to seek instant results, to chase signals, and to prove someone likes us. But attraction isn't something you force. It develops naturally when you remain authentic, confident, and patient. When her friends act differently, it's because they see how much she's thinking about you. She's trying to understand what's happening between you, and they become emotionally involved. When you stay calm, collected, and independent, you signal value, not needing validation to feel confident. This is exactly the mindset Stoicism teaches. You don't react to every signal outside your control. You remain grounded in your own worth. Patience is critical here. Her friend's behavior may seem mysterious, but it's a clear sign that you're on the right path. You've become central in her mind, and they sense it. Instead of rushing, let Stoic wisdom guide you. Focus on your own journey and allow the process to unfold naturally. Practicing Stoicism and cultivating a strong, disciplined mind creates a natural aura of confidence and subtle mystery. You don't need to chase anyone's approval. You simply become the best version of yourself. If you notice her friends acting strangely, exchanging glances, or teasing her subtly, it means you've left an impression. But this is just the beginning. Don't react out of uncertainty or anxiety. Apply Stoic principles. Stay calm, focused, and trust your value. Stoicism isn't about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. Embrace inner strength and let your actions speak louder than words. When you approach life this way, you don't wait for attraction to happen, you cultivate it. When a woman reaches out unexpectedly and then disappears just as quickly, it's not disinterest. It's one of the clearest signs she can't stop thinking about you. Many men get confused by this, feeling like they're in a game of hide and seek, not knowing the next move. She may send a meme, a memory triggering message, or a simple question. Initially, it might seem insignificant, yet you sense a connection. Then, as quickly as she appears, she vanishes. Days pass, and you wonder if you did something wrong. Let's break it down psychologically. There's a real reason behind this. Deep down, she's likely obsessing over you more than you think. Her urge to reach out wasn't casual, it built up internally. Yet once she acts, fear enters. Am I being too obvious? Is this too much? What if he thinks I'm desperate? This internal conflict, known in psychology as approach avoidance, happens when a woman is drawn emotionally to someone but fears vulnerability. She wants connection, yet hesitates to reveal too much, so she retreats. Her pattern isn't random. Each message is timed carefully. She reaches out after just enough silence for you to notice her absence, subtly reminding you of her presence. If she weren't thinking about you constantly, she wouldn't track these intervals or worry about staying relevant in your life. Each check-in demonstrates ongoing thoughts about you, even during the silence. This is a subtle psychological tactic women use to stay on your mind while keeping some mystery. Recognizing this shows her investment. If you want to understand how she's gradually developing feelings, watch these patterns. Her desire to reach out, followed by withdrawal, is part of a deeper emotional strategy. It's her way of managing her own feelings while keeping you engaged. The next time she messages, then disappears, don't assume disinterest. Understand she's likely thinking about you more than you know. Observing these subtleties is key. Commenting, sharing, and reflecting on these patterns can deepen your awareness. Most men miss this, but a high-value man notices these small shifts. When she's around, subtle changes appear. Body language, tone, laughter, or minor guardedness. These small indicators reveal her attention and growing interest. Even if she isn't saying it directly, her thoughts revolve around you constantly. This is the kind of insight that makes you aware of her investment without forcing anything. Patience, observation, and inner composure are essential. You don't need to chase, you need to remain steady, confident, and grounded. By doing so, you naturally cultivate attraction, influence, and presence. Her behavior, while subtle, confirms her attention and thoughts. The key is not reacting impulsively, but maintaining strength, calm, and self-assuredness. This is how attraction forms organically, and how a disciplined, stoic mindset turns small cues into insight. When her mind and her friends' behavior signal interest, you understand that you're already holding a powerful position in her attention and emotional space. All that's left is to remain patient, consistent, and aware, letting connection grow naturally while your confidence radiates through every interaction.